Here we are at our empathy map once again, and we're going to be returning to this framework for compassion and empathy a few more times during our 30 days. Today, we're focusing on observations. We've looked at feelings, we've looked at needs, we've started practices around feelings and needs, and today we're looking at observations and we're going to start a practice around observations. So in the next video regarding the empathy map, we're going to start putting all of this stuff together and applying it in different ways in our life. So we want to take the role of a neutral video camera when we're looking at observations. It needs to be evaluation free. So what does the camera see and hear? The camera does not judge the situation, it simply records it. What is the exact scene and the exact audio that the camera would capture of your situation? Our habitual patterns of thinking and language use, of judging, blaming, diagnosing, denial, evaluating, criticizing, comparing, analyzing, interpreting, and demanding, those patterns are what exacerbates disconnection and conflict. So we want to increase our awareness of these, and we want to be able to look at our situations, our observations of what we're experiencing without evaluation. So for what we're looking at today, we're going to focus on judgment because this is something that we as humans do thousands of times a day, including tiny micro-judgments that we might not even be aware of. And judgments can be both positive and negative, and it's great to become aware of both. A positive judgment is, that dress looks so great on her. And a negative would be like, oh, he talks too much. We're going to try and drill down on what we see, think, and say every day so that we can become more empathetic in our interactions with other people. When we can suspend or refrain from judgment, we create connection rather than disconnection. And what we become aware of, we can change. So is my observation free from evaluation? That's what we're going to be wanting to ask ourselves when we're looking at uncomfortable feelings and uncovering the needs that come up in our day-to-day. So if we think, if our observation is including things like always, never, whenever, constantly, these are signs that it's an evaluation, not an observation. And our hypothetical scenario is someone who has arrived to a meeting after it has started. So we might think something like, oh, Julie is always late to meetings. That's an evaluation. An observation of Julie arriving to the meeting at 9:15 after the meeting started at 9 would be what the video camera records, which is that the meeting started at 9 and Julie entered at 9:15. Now, when we can remove the judgment from that piece, we can open up possibilities about what strategies might be available to helping Julie arrive to meetings at 9, or, possibly changing the meeting to another time. So this is a process of waking to our judging mind. And the practice that I have for you to become aware of this, because we do it a lot, is to have a really easy on and off bracelet. And it can be one of those that is one of those charity bands. It can be anything really. Something discreet if you don't want other people to notice. Of course, if they start noticing what you're doing with your bracelet, it might be a way to share your practice with someone else. But basically, what we're going to do is we're going to start out with the bracelet on our non-dominant hand at the beginning of the day. And as we become aware of our judging thoughts or our judging words, either things we're thinking or things we're saying out loud, we're going to switch the band. And then when we catch ourselves again, we're going to switch the band. And then when we catch ourselves again, we're going to switch the band. If you're anything like me, you know, when you first start becoming aware, you're going to be doing this a lot. Maybe you're better than I am about that. So this is really about the practice of awareness and keeping account of kind of where we start, where we catch ourselves, and stopping and pausing. If we plow through the day and we miss this opportunity to become a less judging person, we can become disembodied and disconnected. If we focus our awareness, open our awareness to how we can judge less, suspend our judgment, become more aware of our judging thoughts and reactions, we can become more heart-centered and embodied and connected to the people that we work with and live with. So once we start to become aware of how often we judge, then we can go deeper. So part 2 of this exercise is to uncover what is beneath the judgment. So judging thoughts are often a clear sign that we're having uncomfortable feelings. And underneath those uncomfortable feelings are some needs that are probably not being met. If we can refer to our needs lists for feelings and needs, and we can uncover what is underlying those judging thoughts, then we have a place that we can enter and shift and take this practice of compassionate communication to the next level. It's not an easy practice, but it is simple. And like most other things in our lives, it's about increasing awareness. So I hope you'll give this a try. And I will also be kind of collecting data on my experiment. I haven't done it in a while, so I am going to pick the practice up back for the rest of my 30 days of empathy. I hope you'll join me.